Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are unpacking the pure adrenaline rush that is Episode 2, The Walker. Now, before we really jump in, I want to establish the core visual rule of the world we're exploring today. In Kian's lit RPG universe, you have to remember this: make everything move even when it's perfectly still. When a scene looks quiet, look closer. The shadows resting on the floor are literally breathing. The UI screens vibrate. Eyes blink with hidden meaning, and the backgrounds slowly, imperceptibly rotate. Movement isn't just in the physical bodies, it is woven into every single pixel that holds a piece of the dark. So, just keep that constant, simmering kinetic energy in the back of your mind as we walk through today's story.
Okay, listen to this confession right at the top of the episode. A week ago, I sat in this cafe pretending to be normal. Today, I pretend to be weak. We open up in this dim, old cafe in Jeddah, 5:30 in the morning. Kian is sitting there in a black hoodie, and man, the tension is just palpable. The system is telling everyone he's a super fragile rank F fighter, but as that quote reveals, it's a total facade. And the visual proof is literally right beneath him. While he's sitting perfectly still, casually sipping his drink, his dark shadow is completely autonomous. It's breathing, writhing, just moving totally on its own under the table. That quiet tension completely shatters when Lyla walks in. She's an elegant rank A elite squad leader, silver hair, piercing golden eyes, and she immediately calls his bluff. She looks right at him and notes that his aura surpasses rank B.
So you might be wondering, why didn't Lyla just turn Kian in for falsifying his rank? Well, it's because she's hunting a myth. She's looking for the Walker. This is a legendary fighter who operates totally outside the ranking system, navigating gates entirely alone and vanishing like a shadow. And she suspects Kian is this guy. This leads right into a really deadly proposition. You see, she represents the Shadowy Tower organization, and they are offering a staggering $2 million payout for a job. A supposedly A-rank gate just opened in northern Jeddah, containing a dead city. But here's the catch: the towers don't care about the monsters inside. They want something called the Black Artifact. And Lyla specifically wants Kian for this because this artifact reportedly talks to shadows.
Now, the towers aren't exactly trusting Kian blindly here. They've set up a three-step trap. First, Lyla hands him this black metal bracelet with a closed-eyes symbol on it. It's a track tracker. Second, Kian agrees to the mission and actually puts it on. But step 3 is where the real magic happens. In this incredibly slow, deliberate movement, Kian's living shadow physically slithers over the cold metal of the bracelet. It aggressively hacks and reverses the tracking system, twisting that closed-eye symbol right into an open eye. The system flashes a quick breach warning. The tracker is officially reversed. The towers think they're tracking him, but nope, Kian is now hunting his hunters.
So moving on, Kian joins a 20-man team out in the black sands of the northern desert. And before they even step foot inside, Kian's system quietly analyzes these massive white stone doors and drops a terrifying truth bomb. This is not just an A-rank gate, it's an A+ gate, heavily bordering on S rank. As they step inside, they're met with this completely dead environment. We're talking a black marble city beneath a heatless, dead sun. But remember our core rule from earlier: nothing is actually still. Through Kian's shadow vision, the world turns stark black and white, and suddenly those dead walls are just teeming with hundreds of thick black lines. They're trapped, living shadows vibrating and shifting violently. It's essentially a massive, pulsing prison.
While the rest of the 20-man team is just blindly stumbling through the dark, looking for standard loot, Kian is tracking those shifting lines. He follows them to an iron door secured by a shadow lock. He opens it, and boom, there's the true prize: the Black Artifact. And it's not just some old, dusty relic. It is a pulsating, living gate seed. It looks like a pitch-black cube that actively absorbs all the light around it. And honestly, the most chilling detail? The trapped shadows of the city are actively gathered around this vibrating seed, swaying rhythmically back and forth, almost as if they are praying to it.
Of course, you can't just grab the ultimate loot without a fight. Every seed has a guardian. The dread in this room instantly peaks as an S-rank Eternal Shadow Knight emerges from right behind the pedestal. And this isn't just a typical monster. It is a massive, erratic entity formed entirely out of freezing, shifting darkness. It's staring down at Kian with these empty, blinding white eyes. Oh, and in its hands, it wields a sword made of pure, heavy black matter. And this brilliantly sets up Kian's impossible dilemma.
The Knight possesses a unique skill called shadow severing, and it is absolutely terrifying. It doesn't just do regular physical damage, it permanently, and I mean permanently, destroys living shadows. If you've ever played an RPG, you know the utter panic of having your entire build countered instantly, right? On the flip side, Kian's entire current combat strategy is his shadow army, which is made 100% of living shadows. The moment the Knight attacks, just a near miss tears into Kian's Shadow Panther, causing 40% permanent damage. Kian realizes in a split second that he cannot summon his army. If he does, they die forever. So just like that, his entire offensive capability is rendered completely useless.
So what does a fighter do when his main weapon is totally neutralized? Well, just as Lyla dramatically breaks protocol and leaps into the room with a glowing blue spear to save him, she gets struck down, her weapon entirely shattered. With Lyla fallen and this S-rank Knight advancing on him, Kian is forced to make a drastic choice. He rips off the tracking bracelet. The system announces his aura is unleashing without limits. He finally drops that fake F-rank facade. But instead of summoning his 8 shadows out to fight, he pulls them directly into his own physical veins.
You have to imagine the visceral stat explosion here. The system is frantically updating as the ground literally cracks beneath his feet. His fake F-rank stats just shatter as the shadows fuse into this thin black armor-like layer over his skin. His eyes turn completely golden, and his true shadow fusion stats emerge. His power skyrockets to 120. His speed blasts up to 150. He leaps straight to level 42. He has transformed into a remarkably rare human shadow status, just brimming with kinetic, overwhelming energy. And with a booming voice, he declares to the monster, "I am the Walker, and your shadow belongs to me."
But hey, you don't just politely ask an S-ranked monster to yield, right? The UI flashes a bright red warning, resistance. The Knight physically begins turning into a shadow, fighting back violently in this incredibly chaotic psychic struggle. Kian places his hands directly on the freezing entity's head, whispering that he is its new master. The subjugation meter on the system ticks painfully slowly, 50%, 60%, until finally, the Knight's blinding white eyes shift to a submissive gold. The monster falls to its knees. The subjugation is successful. Kian has literally just claimed an S-rank boss as his 9th Shadow Soldier and even acquires its deadly shadow severing skill in the process.
So moving into the perilous aftermath of that fight, Lyla wakes up to witness a totally impossible sight. A supposedly F-rank kid is just standing over a kneeling S-rank boss. Kian quickly secures the black artifact, but right then, the discarded tracking bracelet suddenly crackles to life with a radio transmission. The tower organization confirms the artifact is secured, and an execution squad is inbound on black jets with strict orders to kill or capture. Lyla, proving she wasn't actually part of the betrayal, extends her hand to him. They are forced into a really desperate, uneasy alliance against a massive new enemy.
Let's recap Kian's drastically altered reality for a second. He is now level 42, commanding an army of 9 Shadow Soldiers, which incredibly now includes an S-rank Knight and a dragon. However, he is actively being hunted by a heavily armed global organization, the Towers. His only ally is Lyla, a rank A fighter whose loyalties might still be a little complex, and their new target, the Mecca Gate. Just picture the final visual of this sequence. Kian and Lyla exiting the gate into the bright, perfectly still desert sun, but Kian's shadow on the ground is massively swollen, twice its normal size, and teeming with the restless moving shapes of an entire hidden army walking right alongside him.
And this all leaves us with one final, totally terrifying revelation. The black artifact has revealed a hidden gateway that isn't registered on any system anywhere, a royal gate located in Mecca. But the system flashes one final, crazy requirement, level 100. So, I leave you with this to chew on. How on earth can a level 42 fighter possibly survive a level 100 royal gate? Is Lyla truly a safe ally as all this darkness gathers? And who is actually pulling the strings behind the tower organization? The shadows are moving, guys, and they are heading east. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I am just vibrating with anticipation for the next episode, and I know you are too. Catch you next time.